Samina, what are the stocks on your radar?
Quite a few actually, apart from auto that will become an important sort of block that traders will look at playing. I've got a few more that are beyond the auto pack. Of course, Puneet will do a complete breakdown of what those auto stocks are. But it's also the season of order wins, and we've seen historically that every time companies bag big orders, the counters usually react positively to that news flow. So keeping that in mind, I've picked up RVNL. They've emerged as the lowest bidder for PSCL for infra projects worth 643 crores in Punjab. So big positive on RVNL. They had managed to swing significant orders last week as well, because of which the stock in the early part of last week had done quite well. KEC International, now this keeps going back in the news. Again, a big order there, 1,040 crore order in its transmission and distribution business in the international market. Year to date, KEC International's orders stand at 17,300 crores. So again, a big significant one coming in for KEC International. Cochin Shipyard, I'll highlight that too. They've signed a contract for 1,000 crores with Ministry of Defence. So this one too could be reacting to that contract being signed with the Defence Ministry. Two auto counters that I've highlighted, I've not picked up the EV ones, but Maruti and TVS. Remember, the auto numbers are a mixed bag, but Maruti has clocked in double-digit sales, 10% higher at 1.81 lakh, and TVS Motors also sees a total sales number which is 10% higher at 4 lakh versus 3.6 year-on-year. So both those, I think, were a standout in terms of reporting. A bunch of the other ones, Neeraj, that didn't look all that great, to be honest.
Yeah, no, a few thumbs up though, but it was interesting, Samina, that you pointed out Maruti and TVS amongst others, because the City Note on auto says the same thing, that they've analyzed September to November, and in that the auto two-wheeler OEMs and Maruti 1% uptick, and the auto two-wheeler OEMs mid to high double-digit growth essentially are the ones that have done well. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Today, those two could be the stocks that could stand out. Now, my three stocks, Cipla. Now, it could go either ways, by the way. I've given it the thumbs up because it seems to be a clean out trade. The promoter looks to raise about 2,000 crores through the share sales. It's about 1.4 crore shares that will come in on offer today at a price of 1,442, which is lower than the current market price of 1,533. So you'd probably expect the stock to start off with a bit of a gap down. The question is, can it recover post that? I think that is the key thing. And it very well could, because this seems to be a clean out trade. So do watch out for Cipla. It may start off lower, but it may actually do well during the course of the day after that price. So bear that in mind. I think RBL Bank will probably see a bit of a stick. So RBL Bank and Bajaj Finance have mutually agreed to stop the issue of new co-branded cards. Now, while this is about a 1% EPS impact for Bajaj Finance, for RBL Bank, the impact is likely to be more. In fact, Morgan Stanley believes it's a reasonable negative for RBL, because they believe that it will hamper RBL Bank's ability to go out and penetrate the credit card segment deeper. So therefore, do watch out for RBL, could well see a bit of a negative in the session today. Dixon Technologies is the third one. A clear thumbs up, because they have entered into a contract manufacturing agreement with Compal for manufacturing of Google Pixel smartphones. Now, this is a big one. It is a higher quality phone that Dixon has been manufacturing thus far. And Nomura believes that this is a sign of the China plus one impact of Google moving some of the production away from China, and Dixon could be a long-term beneficiary of this, and therefore you might well see Dixon Technologies react positively in the session today, despite the fact that in the last 1 month it's gained about 12%. So these are the top three on my radar.
You know, Neeraj, on Dixon, right? I met somebody recently, and he was on the deal side before Dixon listed on the exchanges, and he said there were institutions that were unwilling to pick this up at 650 crores of market cap. And you look at it 8 years out, it's a story in itself, right? Who would have thought? I think Amber, of course, did have some interest, a lot more interest than Dixon had picked up. But both those counters in the last 7 to 8 years have created history in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's a setup. Now there are 10 or 11 companies in this EMS space, which is quite staggering, really. But just one very quick one before we get to GDP and maybe some of the stocks that you may have, Samina. But Aster DM Healthcare, it's a big deal. We are going to be talking to the management conversation as well, showing that. But it's a large hospital deal in India. I mean, Aster DM and Quality Care, which is Blackstone and TPG backed, merged through a share swap agreement. Aster shareholders hold about 57.3% in the merged entity. The reason why people say it's a positive, Aster valuations are not cheap. They've done a share swap with the company which didn't have a great 2023, but picking up in 2024. It helps geographical expansion for Aster as well as specialty expansion, because Aster is great in oncology and Care is great in cardiovascular.
Both of the big problems of the nation.
Exactly, right? So therefore, while Aster has had a bit of a run and it's expensive, it might well see a bit of a positive in the session today. So watch out for Aster.
Just simplify this. For Aster shareholders, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
No, so apparently people believe it's a great thing because it's a large chain getting merged into Aster. Aster trades at premium multiples and they've done a share swap. So they've used the stock price as equity as opposed to giving cash. They're sitting on 3,000 crores of cash, but they've used a share swap.
As opposed to using up the cash. In order to
and therefore it could be a positive for Aster.
So Aster becomes a positive. One quick one, Home First Finance Company, the promoters there are looking to do a pretty significant stake sale of 14.7% in Home First via a block deal. The size of the block deal is 1,267 crores. Now, maybe the market had a whiff of this on Friday, and that's why the stock sold off quite sharply. But this comes in at a pretty significant discount, 968 rupees per share. So you want to watch out for that too. Talking about pharma, hospitality, Biocon becomes an important one this morning. They've managed to get an approval from the US FDA for its in Tech, which is a biosimilar to the reference product Stellara. So watch out for Biocon. Just treat it as a US FDA approval on a significant product, the name of which I cannot pronounce, but the stock becomes important to watch for. So I think a bunch of solid stocks where we will see a positive reaction. Qs are positive. Generally speaking, this Monday looks a lot more pleasant than what we've seen in the last 7-8 weeks.
Yeah, hopefully a rub of green on the screen. In fact, one more name could well be Adani Ports as well. I think the Nuava note out there is positive. They've spoken about a lot of reasons why the outlook on Adani Ports could be positive. They've in their investor day, they've reiterated a guidance Adani Ports has of 1 billion tons handling volume handling by 2030, and logistics business expected to be the key growth driver for Adani Ports going ahead. A clutch of other reasons, which is why their target prices continue to stay higher. Revenue 20%, EBITDA 18% CAGR, but for 24 to 29, 46% revenue and EBITDA up by about 48%. So multiple reasons why this could happen. In fact, their target price, as I said, 1960, which is about a 63% upside to the current market price.